Welcome to this rigorous scientific lecture on using artificial intelligence to validate startup ideas through systematic experimentation. We're going to explore a methodical approach that combines hypothesis-driven testing with measurable outcomes. Let's start by understanding the fundamental problem. 90% of startups fail. The number one reason? They build products that nobody wants. This is a problem of validation, not execution. Most founders fall in love with their solution before confirming the problem exists. They spend months or years building something, only to discover the market doesn't care. Traditional market research methods are too slow and too expensive for early-stage startups. Focus groups cost thousands of dollars. Surveys have low response rates and suffer from confirmation bias. This is where AI comes in. Artificial intelligence enables us to run rapid, data-driven validation experiments at a fraction of the cost and time. We can test hypotheses in days, not months. The framework I'm going to teach you is based on the scientific method. We form a hypothesis, design an experiment, collect data, analyze results, and make decisions based on evidence. Here's the core loop. Every week, you start with one hypothesis. You design one experiment to test it. You measure one key metric. Then you make a decision. Continue, pivot, or kill the idea. Let me break down the weekly validation loop in detail. This is a 7-day cycle that forces you to move fast and stay focused. Monday is Hypothesis Day. You formulate one clear, testable hypothesis about your target customer, their problem, or your proposed solution. Only one. Focus is critical. Tuesday and Wednesday, you design and deploy one experiment using AI tools. This could be a landing page test, an ad campaign, a chatbot conversation, or a targeted outreach campaign. Thursday and Friday, you collect data on one key metric. Not 10 metrics, one. This could be conversion rate, response rate, cost per acquisition, or engagement time. Saturday and Sunday, you analyze the results using your predetermined decision rule. Did you hit your threshold? If yes, continue to the next hypothesis. If no, pivot or kill. Let's work through a concrete example. Imagine you want to build an AI-powered tutoring platform for high school students struggling with calculus. Week 1 hypothesis. High school students struggling with calculus are willing to pay $15 per month for 24/7 AI tutoring assistance. Notice how specific this is. We've defined the target customer, high school students struggling with calculus. We've defined the price point, $15 per month. We've defined the value proposition, 24/7 AI assistance. Now let's design the experiment. We're going to create a minimal viable test using AI tools to validate demand before building anything. We create a landing page using AI copywriting tools like ChatGPT or Claude. We set up an AI chatbot using VoiceFlow or Landbot to qualify visitors and collect emails. We add a payment intent step using Stripe to see who's willing to enter credit card details. The total cost is under $100. It takes about 8 hours to build using no-code tools and AI assistance. Compare that to months and tens of thousands building a full product. Now we need traffic. We use AI to optimize our ad campaigns across multiple channels simultaneously. We allocate $500 for 5 days of testing. That's $100 per day. Our target is 50 clicks per day at $2 cost per click. That gives us 250 total clicks over 5 days. We run ads on Google Search, Facebook groups, Reddit communities, and TikTok. We use AI tools like Magix or Pencil to generate multiple ad variations and auto-optimize based on performance. Our one metric for week 1 is conversion rate from landing page visit to payment intent. This is the percentage of visitors who enter their credit card information. Conversion rate equals payment intents divided by landing page visits times 100%. Industry benchmark for software as a service landing pages is 2 to 5%. But for a product that doesn't exist yet, we need to see higher intent. We set our threshold at 8% minimum. If 8% of visitors are willing to give us their credit card, that's strong signal. Below 8% means the value proposition isn't compelling enough. Now let's establish the decision rule before we run the experiment. This is crucial. You must decide your criteria before seeing the data to avoid confirmation bias. If we get 8% or higher conversion, we continue to week 2 with a new hypothesis. If we get 5 to 7%, we pivot the messaging or price point. If we get below 5%, we kill this idea and move to a different problem space. Let's say we ran the experiment. We spent $500 on ads. We got 283 landing page visits. 41 people entered payment intent. What's our conversion rate? 41 divided by 283 equals 14.5%. This is well above our 8% threshold. This is a strong signal to continue. 14.5% conversion means the problem is real, the value proposition resonates, and people are willing to pay. But let me ask you a critical question. Does 14.5% payment intent mean 14.5% will actually pay when we launch? The answer is no. Expect 30 to 50% follow-through from intent to actual payment. So 14.5% intent might convert to 5 to 7% actual customers. This is exactly why we set the threshold higher than industry average. We're accounting for the gap between stated intent and actual behavior. Week 2 hypothesis. Our target customers are willing to pay at least $25 per month, not just $15 if we add personalized study plans. Now we're testing pricing elasticity. We know there's demand at $15. Can we charge more by adding a feature that costs us almost nothing to build with AI? We create 2 versions of the landing page. Version A stays at $15 per month. Version B offers $25 per month with AI-generated personalized study plans. We split traffic 50-50 between version A and version B. We use AI tools to generate the personalized study plan, feature descriptions, and benefits copy. Our one metric for week 2 is revenue per visitor. This accounts for both conversion rate and price point. Revenue per visitor equals conversion rate times price point. Our decision rule. Version B must have at least 30% higher revenue per visitor than version A to justify the higher price and added feature. Let's do a back-of-the-envelope calculation to understand if this business can be economically viable. This is critical scientific thinking. From week 1, our customer acquisition cost was $500 divided by 41 payment intents. That's $12.20 per customer. Lifetime value at $25 per month equals $25 times average months retained. If average retention is 6 months, lifetime value is $150. The lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio is 150 divided by 12.20, which equals 12.3. A ratio above 3 is considered healthy for software businesses. 12.3 is exceptional. This suggests strong unit economics. But notice we're making an assumption about 6 months retention. We need to validate this in future experiments. Week 3 hypothesis. We can acquire customers at under $15 cost through organic content marketing powered by AI, making the business even more scalable. Now we're testing acquisition channels. Paid ads worked, but can we acquire customers more cheaply through content? We use AI to generate 50 pieces of content. Blog posts, YouTube scripts, TikTok videos, and Twitter threads, all targeting high school students struggling with calculus. We publish 10 blog posts using ChatGPT, create 10 YouTube video scripts using Claude, generate 15 TikTok videos using Runway or Synthesia, and write 15 Twitter threads using GPT-4. Total time investment is 20 hours with AI assistance. Without AI, this would take 200 hours or more. Our metric for week 3 is cost per acquisition through organic content. We track which content pieces drive traffic to our landing page and how many convert. Organic customer acquisition cost equals time cost plus tool cost divided by customers acquired. If we value our time at $50 per hour, 20 hours equals $1,000 in time cost. Add $100 for AI tools. Total cost is $1,100. Our decision rule. We must acquire at least 75 customers through this content to achieve a customer acquisition cost below $15. 1,100 divided by 75 equals $14.67. Let me now explain the pivot framework in detail. Not all experiments will succeed. How do you know when to pivot versus when to kill? A pivot means changing one variable while keeping everything else constant. You might pivot the target customer, the problem you're solving, the solution approach, the price point, or the acquisition channel. My rule: you get 3 pivots before you must kill the idea. If you pivot 3 times and still can't hit your metrics, the fundamental idea is flawed. Each pivot is a loop back to week 1 with a modified hypothesis. You learn from each experiment and apply that learning to the next iteration. Let's walk through a second complete example to solidify these concepts. Imagine you want to build an I resume builder that helps job seekers optimize their resumes for applicant tracking systems. Week 1 hypothesis. Job seekers applying to corporate jobs are frustrated because their resumes get rejected by applicant tracking systems before any human sees them. Experiment. We use AI to identify and survey 200 people who recently applied to jobs. We ask, have you ever suspected your resume was rejected by an automated system? Did this frustrate you? Metric. At least 60% must answer yes to both questions. Below 60% means the problem isn't painful enough. We use tools like Typeform with ChatGPT integration to create the survey, Phantom Buster to scrape LinkedIn for recent job seekers, and Lemlist to automate personalized outreach. Total cost, $150, 8 hours of work. Week 2 hypothesis. Job seekers will pay $39 for an AI tool that guarantees their resume passes applicant tracking systems. Experiment. We create a landing page with a demo video showing how the AI analyzes and optimizes resumes. The video is generated entirely using AI tools like Synthesia or HeyGen. Metric. 5% conversion from landing page visit to payment. We drive 1,000 visitors using Reddit ads targeting job search communities. Week 3 hypothesis. Users who successfully land interviews will refer at least 2 friends, giving us organic growth. Experiment. We give 50 early users free access in exchange for feedback and permission to track whether they refer friends. We use AI to send personalized follow-up emails based on their usage patterns. Metric. 30% must refer at least 2 friends. This gives us a viral coefficient of 0.6, which combined with paid acquisition can create sustainable growth. Let me highlight 5 common mistakes founders make when running validation experiments. Mistake 1. Testing multiple variables at once. If you change the price and the messaging and the target audience, you won't know which variable caused the result change. Mistake 2. Not setting decision rules before the experiment. This leads to confirmation bias, where you interpret any result as validation. Mistake 3. Ignoring statistical significance. 10 conversions out of 20 visitors looks great at 50%, but it's not statistically meaningful. As a rule of thumb, you need at least 100 data points for meaningful results in conversion experiments. Mistake 4. Confusing interest with intent. Email signups show interest. Credit card details show intent. Focus on intent metrics. Mistake 5. Not moving fast enough. The power of this framework is speed. If you're taking more than 1 week per experiment, you're overthinking it. Let me show you the math behind why speed matters. This is a crucial insight that many founders miss. Let's assume you have a 20% chance that any given hypothesis is correct. This is actually optimistic. The probability of success in n tries equals 1 minus 0.8 to the power of n. After 5 experiments, your probability of finding a winning idea is 67%. After 10 experiments, it's 89%. After 15 experiments, you're at 96%. At 1 week per experiment, you reach 15 experiments in 15 weeks. That's less than 4 months to find a winning idea with 96% confidence. Compare that to traditional startup methodology, where each idea takes a month to test. 15 months to reach the same confidence level. You'll run out of money first. Once you get comfortable with this framework, you can run parallel experiments to increase learning velocity even more. You might test 4 different customer segments simultaneously, or 4 different value propositions, or 4 different acquisition channels. This requires more capital up front, but dramatically increases your learning speed. You could potentially run 15 experiments in 4 weeks instead of 15. But I only recommend this after you've mastered sequential experiments. Running parallel tests without proper methodology leads to confusion and wasted resources. Let me give you a comprehensive breakdown of specific AI tools you can use at each stage of the validation loop. For hypothesis generation, use ChatGPT, Claude, or Perplexity to research market trends, analyze competitor positioning, and brainstorm problem spaces. For landing pages, use Unbounce with AI copywriting, Mixo for instant page generation, or durable, which builds entire websites from a single prompt. For ad creative, use Magic Ux for Facebook optimization, Pencil for generating variations, or AdCreative.ai for performance prediction. For chatbots, use VoiceFlow for complex conversation flows, Landbot for visual building, or Drift for sales-focused interactions. For email outreach, use Limlist with AI personalization, SmartLead for deliverability optimization, or Reply for multi-channel sequences. For data analysis, use Julius AI to query your data in natural language, Polymer for automated insights, or Coefficient to connect spreadsheets to data sources. Let me share a real example from a prop tech startup I advised. They wanted to build a platform connecting property managers with maintenance contractors. Initial hypothesis: property managers waste 10 hours per week finding and vetting contractors for maintenance requests. Week 1 experiment. They used AI to identify and interview 30 property managers. Result: only 40% said contractor sourcing was a top 3 pain point. This failed their 60% threshold, so they pivoted. Pivot 1. Maybe the real pain is tenant communication about maintenance requests, not contractor sourcing. Week 2 experiment. They created a demo of an AI phone system that handles tenant maintenance requests automatically, showed it to 20 property managers. Result: 85% said they would pay for this. Strong validation. Week 3. They tested pricing at $199 per month per property, created a landing page, ran LinkedIn ads targeting property managers. Result: 12% conversion rate from landing page to payment intent, well above their 8% threshold. By week 6, they had 50 paying customers before writing a single line of production code. They used Twilio with GPT-4 to build a minimum viable product in 2 weeks. The key insight: they pivoted fast based on data instead of falling in love with their original hypothesis. Let's talk about budget. How much money do you need to properly validate a startup idea using this framework? Per week budget equals $500 for ads, plus $100 for AI tools and services. That's $600 per week. For 15 weeks of validation, that's $9,000 total investment. Compare this to traditional minimum viable product development, which costs $50,000 to $200,000. You're spending 5 to 18% of traditional MVP costs to validate before building anything. This is an asymmetric bet in your favor. I recommend building a simple experiment dashboard to track all your tests. This creates organizational learning and prevents you from repeating failed experiments. Track the week number, the hypothesis you tested, the metric you measured, the result you got, and the decision you made. This dashboard becomes your institutional knowledge. When you eventually hire a team, they can see exactly what you learned and why you made certain decisions. Here's a meta-level question I want you to think about. What is this framework really teaching you? The answer: it's teaching you the discipline of evidence-based decision-making under uncertainty. This skill transfers to every aspect of running a business. Most founders make decisions based on intuition or hope. Will this feature work? Should we change our pricing? Is this marketing channel effective? They guess. This framework forces you to design experiments and measure results. You replace guessing with testing. You replace hope with data. A common question: when do you stop validating and actually start building the product? You need validation on 3 critical dimensions before building. Dimension 1: problem-solution fit. At least 60% of your target customers must confirm the problem is painful and your proposed solution is appealing. Dimension 2: willingness to pay. At least 8% of qualified prospects must show payment intent at your target price point. Dimension 3: unit economics. Your lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio must be above 3 based on reasonable retention assumptions. Only when all 3 dimensions are validated should you invest serious resources in building the full product. Let me leave you with one final powerful insight about the compound effect of fast iteration. Founder A runs 1 experiment per month. That's 12 experiments per year. Founder B runs 1 experiment per week. That's 52 experiments per year. Over 2 years, Founder A completes 24 experiments. Founder B completes 104 experiments, more than 4 times the learning. Founder B is 4 times more likely to find product market fit. They'll learn what works and what doesn't 4 times faster than Founder A. This is the power of systematic, AI-accelerated validation. Speed compounds. Learning compounds. Success probability compounds. Let me summarize the complete framework in a concise way. Every Monday, formulate one hypothesis about your customer, their problem, or your solution. Tuesday and Wednesday, design and deploy one experiment using AI tools to test that hypothesis. Thursday and Friday, collect data on one key metric that directly measures your hypothesis. Over the weekend, analyze results against your predetermined decision rule. Continue if you hit the threshold, pivot if you're close, kill if you're far off. Repeat this loop for up to 15 weeks or until you've exhausted 3 pivots, whichever comes first. This framework gives you a 96% chance of finding a viable idea if you execute it with discipline. The future belongs to founders who can validate ideas fast using AI. Speed is the new competitive advantage. Systematic experimentation is the new best practice. You now have the tools to validate any startup idea in 15 weeks for under $10,000. The question is, will you use them?